It's not hot. Yeah.
Would y'all please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight thankful for the opportunity, and we just pray for your guidance in all things that are brought before us for tonight. Thank you for your intervention and guidance in our lives. In Jesus' name, amen.
It is 7:41.
Apologize for running a little late tonight. We are calling this meeting by 7:41 p.m. And do you want to start with the recognition of the students?
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to recognize our students of the month. Let's go ahead and start with the elementary school if we can.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, elementary, sorry.
All right, so the elementary has two students of the month. The first one is Hazel Hall, and Hazel was nominated by Mrs. Vincent, her teacher. And Mrs. Vincent says that Hazel is a great leader in the classroom. She is very compassionate with all her classmates and teachers. She is always willing to help other students find their page in a book, help students follow our class routine, or help a student feel better. Hazel is a great helper to the teachers also. On many occasions, Hazel will ask a teacher if they need help in the classroom. Hazel always has a smile on her face and comes to school ready to learn. Hazel is above level in reading and math and has mastered kindergarten standards. She loves working on more challenging assignments and is learning Spanish. I enjoy working with Hazel and watching her love for learning grow. So congratulations to Hazel. Congratulations.
And I just realized I forgot to have their certificates ready, so we will have all the students of the month certificates ready, and we'll get those to you in school. Thank
I'll
you.
come back to you tomorrow. Hey Jackson, how are you? Good. All right, so this is Jackson Inman, and Jackson was nominated as Student of the Month by Mrs. Deckard. Mrs. Deckard said that Jackson is nominated not only for all of the hard work and effort he puts in every day, but because of his excellent behavior and his wonderful attitude in class. Jackson works so hard on all of our tasks and is always ready to help others around him that are struggling. He is kind and sets a great example with his classroom behavior choices. Jackson has worked so hard and has shown so much growth this year. I am so proud of him and the example he sets for those around him. So congratulations to Jackson.
Mr. Alt, come on up. Do middle school next.
All right, I saw Devin Harper there. I'm gonna have you come on up.
Doing okay? Not many kids are tall as me. It's impressive. Devin's in 8th grade. I've enjoyed getting to watch Devin grow up. So I'll go ahead and read what the 8th grade team wrote, and I think Mrs. Mitchell wrote this up, okay? Mr. Devin Harper is an all-around fantastic kid. What the 8th grade team notices about Devin is that he tries really hard, and this effort shows in his grades. When Devin doesn't understand something, he asks. When he notices another student needing help, he helps them. That's important. That's nice. When Mrs. Mitchell is having a rough day, he makes her laugh, and his other teachers too. Devin is funny and uses this humor to make those around him happy and smiling. Devin deserves to be recognized for his hard work and all-around awesomeness. That sounds like something Mr. Moffat would say. We keep thinking, Devin's going to leave us and go to the high school next year, and this is sad to us. We will miss him and his great attitude. I will too. Devin, keep it up, buddy, and keep being the kind person that you are. Thank you. I just spotted you, Hazel. Come on up. How are you?
Good.
Good. All right. Hazel was so excited about this. It tickled me to death. There's no, as long as I've been doing just public education, I'll tell you another story on Hazel, and she probably knows where I'm going with this. When kids see us out in public, they either run to us and hug us or like, nah, we don't. She gave me a big old hug at Walmart the other day, and I was like, made me feel real good. All right, Hazel. This is from the office staff, so this is especially special, okay? The office staff would like to recommend Hazel for the Student of the Month. Hazel has grown and matured so much over the course of middle school. There were struggles in 5th grade with lots of tears and frustrations. Now she has blossomed into a smiling, fun, hardworking young lady who brightens our day. Hazel's kindness, always willing to help out, does not go unnoticed. So you need to know that. We noticed that. We will truly miss her next year when she goes to the high school. Hazel, we love you, and we could not be more proud of you. Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Alt. Okay, Mr. Kirkendall, come on up.
Good evening. The high school nominated Clayton Lyles and Cora Boo. The teacher, Mr. Hutchison writes of Clayton, he is very mature and is always on task in the classroom. He typically gets his work done first and attempts to help his peers once they are finished. He's very respectful and is generally the type of student you wish you had more of in the classroom. Ms. Black says about Clayton that he is responsible and on top of it. He's in her AP Human Geography class, and she enjoys his participation and just having him there. Cora Boo. Ms. Hayes writes, Cora is a great kid who works very hard to do well in my class. She is one of the few students who are super conscientious about her work when quarantined. She always turns her work in on time despite any obstacles she faces. You can tell she values learning by the questions she asks. She isn't just trying to get the work over with. She wants to understand the why behind the work. And Miss Martindale writes about Cora, she is a hard worker, asks questions, and even helps others around her. She has been polite and respectful, which are incredibly appreciated. She is just a great kid all around, and I really enjoy having her in class. So.
Congratulations to all those students and parents and loved ones that might be here. At this time, if any of you do want to leave, you will not offend us. I know some of you probably want to get home, and I don't know if you have eaten supper yet or anything or homework, but if you want to leave, now would be the perfect time, and congratulations once again. Thanks for coming. Next up, we do have a couple special presentations. First, we're going to start with some high school students. They wanted to present to the board some dress code revisions that will probably show up in the handbook that will be approved in the next few months. We usually don't do handbook approvals until usually about April, but they felt it was important enough to let the board kind of have a sneak peek at what they might be looking at for revisions to the high school handbook. So at this time, those students can come on up and give your presentation.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. First, we'd like to thank you for the opportunity to address you in regard to an issue that is important to the student body of Eastern Grade High School. I'm Brielle Alexander, and this is Maddox Alt. We are representing a group of students that sat down with Mr. Kirkendall to make changes to our dress code. Our concern is the dress code policy has not been updated for more than 7 to 8 years and does not reflect the current student body values. To begin, I would like to describe the process that was taken to form our decisions on dress code policy. Mr. Kirkendall selected a diverse group of 15 students from different ages, backgrounds, and beliefs. From there, we met once a week, 3 to 4 times to discuss policies from other schools in the area and identify what would be appropriate for us. Each member of our group gathered information from our classmates and brought it back to the group. These are the findings that we would like to see changed.
We would like to revisit the dress code policy every 2 years to update and address the latest trends and values. We want our dress policy to appeal to all of the student body and to be as inclusive as possible. We want a dress code that allows for individual freedom, but also supports our community's values of appropriateness in the school environment. We want a fair and consistent evaluation of our dress by teachers and administrators that both students and adults can agree on. Some of the current things that we'll keep consistent are the 3-inch inseams for shorts, and the same rule goes with the holes on pants. They won't come over that short length. And also that both straps will remain over shoulders. So we also want the students that violate their dress code to be held accountable with punishment. Our first offense being warning and corrective action, your second offense being a Tuesday school and corrective action, and the third offense being a Saturday school and corrective action. And then after that, students will remain in ISS until corrective action takes place. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. I do want to applaud the high school for taking this path. It's not often that students always get involved in handbook approvals and giving suggestions. So thank you, Mr. Kirkendall, the administration, and some of the teacher leads that may have been a part of this for allowing the students to take part in it. And I think it's a very valuable lesson for them to be part of this. So thank you very much for that. Next up, we have Mr. Martindale and Mr. Moffitt. They're going to give us what I'm sure is going to be an entertaining presentation.
No video.
Not yet. They're going to talk to us about some 8th grade DC trip alternatives and other things.
You got it. You got it. Okay, so first off, a lot of you guys probably know you've had kids that have gone where we've had the DC trip for, 13 years straight. Mr. Jeff Goodwin ran it for a while. He ended up retiring. I ended up taking it over, and then it all went downhill from there. We've had to cancel it for, now 3 straight years. And so Mr. Moffitt and I have come up with a way to get a field trip for these kids with the intent, and I know this might be a question for school board, with the intent of bringing back the DC trip in the future. And so that's kind of what we're looking at here, if this will let me do it. Okay, so there I just kind of already explained, this was the concept. It's just been really difficult logistically to get this thing going over the last couple of years. So we're trying to come up with something a little bit different, so I'll hand it over to him real quick.
Yeah, and what I like to display is what we're going to try to do is bring DC to our 3-day field trip, including a zoo trip, a state trip around Indiana monuments and important places of history where Columbus came over and helped fight. I don't teach those things. And then, I was close. In Texas, that's what we learned. What I wanted to get here, though, was, one, for me, is to keep kids interested and motivated in science. And then 2, I look down here, and visualization is always a school. And then when you see the kids, on videos is one thing, but here, just to prove to you that I'm right, that's not a joke. Field-based learning increases test scores. So therefore, this should happen. Anyways, yeah. No, but the last one here I also want to get to was that students who go on field trips become more empathetic and tolerant towards others as well. So it's kind of neat to see 2 kids at the zoo going, "Oh, it's a panda."
Do they have those in?
We have one.
We have one?
Yeah, we do.
All right.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the cost, one thing we're going to be doing, and we've already started doing this, is fundraising.
We did the cookie dough fundraiser, which we always do, and I know Mrs. Joe runs that, as well. We did the lip sync battle, which a lot of people saw through Mr. Moffitt's Facebook page. Next week, we're starting a pie in the face contest where students were raising money, and as it goes up, we can be getting pies in the face, and they're all excited about hitting us with that. And then in April, we just got this one figured out. We're gonna have a big spring fling dance for our middle school kids. All of this stuff here, fundraising wise, will go toward the cost of this trip. So what the trip entails, day one is Indiana history. We're gonna give the kids a charter bus here. And I actually spelled that wrong already, but that's okay. The charter bus is through Turner out of Terre Haute. Okay, they're going to take us to George Rogers Clark Memorial. And then from there, we've also got the Indiana Military Museum in Vincennes. I don't know if you guys have been there or not. It's got a lot of great stuff war-wise, from the Civil War up to World War II. So we're going to be able to take the kids there. We'll drive past William Henry Harrison's mansion along the way. And so we wanted to do a charter for this reason here, because we're going to take a long trip over to Lincoln City, Indiana, to go visit Abraham Lincoln's boyhood home there. And so it's an hour and a half trip there. It's an hour and a half trip. So it's a lot of roundabout ways. So we thought we could show them some movies, let them chill out, eat on the bus a little bit. And then we're going to hit up probably some restaurants there in Washington, Indiana, and have the kids home by about 8 o'clock that night. So it'll be a 12-hour day for us and the students. Is it going to be a good day? It's going to be a good day. Okay. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And then day two, there you go.
I don't have any famous humans to talk about, but I reach out to a Lift Academy every year. One thing we do get brought up in our class quite a bit is life after high school. And so sometimes we talk about there's other paths besides college. And so the Lift Academy is the academy in Indianapolis that trains students through an apprenticeship program to fly planes. And so we have about 13 students right now who are interested in flying, So what they do is they come in and they'll take half of my class will go outside into a flight simulator. The juniors right now are the last ones that got to go through this. And so they go outside into a flight simulator, and it's pretty cool. I've done it. Out of about 80 students, 3 have landed a plane. So I tell you, from Greene County, we can have 3 pilots in the next few years. Something for us to be proud about. And this is actually photographs from our classroom and what it does, but they'll be coming down and we'll do a time for that. It'll be kind of neat. And me again. And so I didn't get to really have anything really cool here. You guys have been to a zoo. Believe it or not, we have 13 students in 8th grade who've never been to the Indianapolis Zoo. We've got 46 students who are interested in a field of dealing with animals in the future, whether it's veterinary science. One girl said something today, but I have no idea how to pronounce it or even say it, but it was a really cool career. It sounded really neat. But it's really neat because right now we have Ray, a rescued sea lion who was shot 5 times by a shotgun and has survived. So I know a lot of you guys have shotguns, but Ray was shot 5 times. 5 times. But Ray's still living. He's at the zoo now. So we're going to go visit Ray. He's blind. I'm not making this up. It's a blind sea lion shot by a shotgun 5 times. He's memorized his habitat, so that's how he navigates. So we're going to go talk to the kids about a promising future that they could have. But it's neat because from August to March, out of my 25 standards, 18 of them will be seen at the zoo. So I'm pretty excited about that. So when the kids say, when will we use this? I say, at the zoo. Yeah.
All right. That's it. Thank you guys for your time.
No.
So we're ready now for participation in school board meetings. The board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express concerns regarding agenda items. Comments will be limited to board meeting agenda items with a time limit of 3 to 5 minutes. Is there anyone here?
Nobody can hear you.
Trying to speak as loud as I can, sorry. The board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express concerns regarding agenda items. Comments will be limited to board meeting agenda items with a time limit of 3 to 5 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to speak tonight?
Hi, my name is Krista Patterson. I'm from Beach Creek Township. I wanted to ask about the abundance of resignations and why there isn't an exit interview or a process in place for retention. I sent an email earlier last week asking many questions, as this is the avenue that is requested to be used for communication. Unfortunately, I didn't receive any answers, but thank you, Mike and Ron, for acknowledging my email. Some may question why my husband and I care since our boys are currently homeschooled, but we do. Like many, we have never dreamed we would be where we're at today. There is a long legacy of wonderful people and traditions here at Eastern Green. We still support many things at Eastern Green, but there are many issues that are not being addressed, and that is very disheartening. These are very trying times right now, but can I ask what are the plans to help resolve them? Eastern Green has lost a lot of great experienced teachers and instructional assistants over the last 2 years. Many are from this community. In the elementary alone, there have been at least 5 teachers and 5 instructional assistants that have left. How are these issues being resolved? What are the plans to replace these IAs? Last year, the Title I coordinator was pulled and put into a first grade
Kristen,
classroom.
I'm going to have to stop you right there. You're getting into personnel issues, and this is not the forum for that. I do appreciate your comments, and I do appreciate the email.
She's not using names or person.
It doesn't.
Specifics.
It's up to me to decide that, Shelley. So at this point, I am going to ask you to.
Okay, so all the resignations are listed on the agenda tonight. So maybe you guys can address what you're doing that, because right now there's not an exit interview. Communication from the top down and from the teachers and staff. I mean, have you tried to survey what's going on within the buildings and the community right now? School
there is
spirit.
more knowledge inside this administration
Okay.
than what the public knows.
Okay.
And for personnel
school
items, that's
spirit.
the way it needs to stay.
Okay, school spirit and morale, I hope that's addressed maybe too. So we just want the best, and this is a wonderful community, and that's the concern. So I wish I could have read the rest of it, but thank you.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
My name's Timothy George. I think a lot of times when we're in an educational setting, which we've all been through, you don't start the day out asking your kids if they have questions or comments before any information is given to them. I don't think for having a presentation about information, you ask the audience, do you guys have any questions or comments before the information is even given? But this is what we're doing at the school board meeting each and every time. We ask to have the comment section and the questions moved to the end of the meeting, so we actually know what you guys are talking about, presenting the information that you guys are presenting on the agenda. Last board meeting, you guys decided to change the school calendar. It was a one-sentence heading on there. Most logical people would probably assume we're just going to redo the school calendar as is. But no, we changed that before we even knew what was going on, because we didn't know what our comments were before it was even presented. Now we're going to change the entire school day that affects every parent in this school district every Wednesday morning for an hour. And this is not a hack on the teachers and their professional development. We want the teachers to get the training that they need, paid for by the school, the taxpayers. We want the best teachers, the best trained teachers here. So it's nothing against you teachers out there. Administrators, it's not against you guys. The point is, we're changing things, and we don't even have an opportunity to comment and come up with some good solutions to the problem. Now, what has happened is after that was presented, some people made some comments, then we send out a survey to people in the school district. Why can't we do that before we vote on something? You guys brought something up, you all voted on it, and now we're going to start changing it maybe, so we just got to vote on it again. So why don't we move this comment section down into the meeting before you guys vote on things? You guys present the information, we open it up for questions and comments, and then you guys vote on it. On the agenda tonight is your Neola policy. Trent, I requested a copy of it. He graciously emailed one to me. I went through there and read some things. You guys are going to probably vote on this tonight 7-0 or wherever Scott's at tonight. But you guys are probably going to vote on this tonight. Have you guys all read it?
Yes, sir.
I will highlight some things out of here that I think is very troubling to me based on your guys' performance so far on the comments and questions of this school board. On page 8, parent and family engagement. The school board recognizes that each student's education responsibility is shared by the school and the family. Meaningful family support is critical if the student is to achieve his or her potential. In order to foster meaningful family involvement, the board directs the superintendent to establish a program that both encourages and facilitates parent and family members' involvement in their child's educational program. Going to need some involvement from the parents. You guys are voting on that tonight. Right down below that, on page 8, letter A. In developing the program, the superintendent should ensure that the following factors are addressed. As appropriate to the situation, opportunities are available to the parents and family members to participate in making decisions about their child's educational program and procedural matters that affect the way the child functions in school. I have been coming to these school board meetings for about a year now, and I don't see this, but we're voting on it tonight. I hope things change. I hope if we're going to vote on parent involvement, we're going to have to start getting parents involved. I'll go to page 9. Best practices by category. Letter E. Engage families in school planning, leadership, and meaningful volunteer opportunities. Engage them. Page 10. Provide families with information related to child development, creating supportive learning environments. Engage families in school planning, leadership, and meaningful volunteer opportunities. Letter A. Create roles for parents and family members on all decision-making and advisory committees, properly training them for areas in which they will serve. They give examples of curriculum, budget, and school safety. Letter F. Structure a network that links every family with a designated family representative. We have parents out here who can't even get questions answered by the school board. And you guys are going to say, now we're going to start linking you guys up with representatives and you guys aren't even answering emails from them? Sad. I don't think you guys are going to be able to vote on this, but you're not even doing it now. Big change is coming, I guess. Page 11, and I will conclude with this. Provide family engagement efforts and community participation. Letter A. Support the establishment of a parent-family member advisory council, committee, task force, or group. You guys are charging Mr. Provo with carrying this out. B. Support students and family members in the school community. D. Foster effective communication with families focused on student learning and development. Effective communication to me would mean we need to have some information so we can make communication about that. It's hard for us to know what you guys are deciding in this school because there's a lot that goes on. You guys deal with a lot that we don't deal with. We don't know. You give us a one sentence, there's a lot in that. We would like to know. We would like to be part of the process of helping figure out some of these solutions, not just up here complaining. And I'm not the type of person that complains without trying to help figure it out and help. Does it require our time, our money, leadership, growing? We're here to help. I'm here to help. But I'll be the first to call somebody out when they're not doing what's best. We're not getting back to us. Krista Patterson's a fine example. We're not getting back. She has valid concerns. She's a taxpayer in this school corporation, this school district. She's a fine woman. If you got a problem with Krista Patterson, I don't know. We asked Ron about the flag at the football. We haven't heard back yet. We can't ask about it because it's not on the agenda. That's another example of something we've asked about, we wanted clarification on. It's been 5 or 6 meetings. We still haven't heard one thing about it. I've already mentioned the school calendar issue. Not one person on this board asked a question about how we're going to implement it, carry it out. That affected every parent, every grandparent that's taking care of these kids in the school, getting them here. To my understanding, almost 40% of the kids in a high school have a D or an F. We could open up some like 1 hour tutoring every Wednesday. Something. We weren't asked. We didn't know about it. We had to make comments 30 minutes before this information was even given to us. But that's what we have to, that's the rules we've got to play by. So whenever I read this, Neola policy, which you guys are all voting on tonight, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen. Let's start tonight by moving this comment question to the end of the meeting so we can just get some clarification, some communication. So when everybody leaves this board meeting, there's a lot of elementary teachers, to my understanding, didn't even know what was going on either. Employees of you guys. Trying to get the communication going so there's less, who knows, I don't know, here's what they said, and that gets changed when time it gets to the third person. We want to be part of the solution. We're probably part of the problem, so we want to be part of the solution too. Our kids matter to us. We want to leave places better than when we found them. The gist of my story is, when you look at our agenda, is that what's best for Eastern Green School District? We're going to put, I know why you're doing it, but is that what's best? We're going to put it at the very beginning, right after the pledge and the prayer, and then we're going to have you guys make comments and questions about stuff that ain't even presented yet. I don't know if you've been to a doctor's office, a courtroom, a classroom. You don't ask the questions and comments before the information is provided. In an agenda that we get maybe a week before the meeting. That is not, is that what best for Eastern to do it that way, Martha? Matt, you think that's what's best for Eastern Green? Is to have some people get up here and ask questions and comments about stuff that hasn't even been presented yet?
I'd be happy to talk with you about that after the meeting.
Sure. Sharon, you were a principal here, and as far as I know, I didn't have any kids under you, but I heard you was very well regarded amongst parents and teachers. And I'm glad you're serving on this school board because I think you have a lot of educational and experience background. But would this be best to have a question and comment period for anything that you don't know anything about? Heather, you chose to serve on this school board. Is this the best we can do? Have these people come out here and try to figure out what information you guys have had, and try to make good, qualified decisions and comments, and try to help figure out a solution that we don't even know what the problem is? Is that what's best?
Thank you, Timothy, for your time.
I'll give my time to him.
Well, hey, it's already several more minutes.
Mike, is that what's best? Ron, is that best?
I believe that we are all doing the best that we can for the students, and there's a lot of information.
So you're telling the students in Eastern Green right now that this is the best that you can do for them? Is not move this down in your agenda?
I'll look at that. I'll look and see how other schools are doing.
I would make a motion that we move that to the end of the agenda.
Trent, is that
Can we look at the state meeting handbook?
Well, motion's been made. I mean, either we're going to get a second or not.
Okay, Mike's made a motion that we move the comments to the end. Anyone have a second this time?
Oh, I want to discuss it before.
So at this point, the motion dies.
What are we discussing it? I mean, is that something you guys can discuss tonight, or is something you guys got to do in executive session? Because I do not know.
That'll be something we do individually with the group.
Trent, do you think this is what's best?
I'll be glad to talk to you later, Tim.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to the adoption of the agenda.
We've got one more.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
So my name's Dominique Barr, and I'm from Center Township. And I wanted to mirror the concerns about the resignations of the instructional assistants and teachers, because Principal Alt said it best at 5th grade orientation. Like, you did a fantastic job, and he said,
Okay, now you turned your head. I'm sorry.
he said, we will love your children. No matter what, we will love your children. And I see it. These teachers love our kids. And the parents love the teachers. And so we want to retain as many teachers that we have as possible. I don't know if the instructional assistants are leaving because they're finishing up their schooling and then maybe moving on to other areas. That could be a possible explanation. But my question is, what analysis is being performed to get to the root cause of all of these resignations, right? What analysis is being performed to ensure that we're implementing the right support systems and the correct programs to help our teachers. Our teachers, I'm from a military family, right? My husband's a veteran, and our teachers are similar to our frontline soldiers, right? They're the ones taking the brunt every single day. They're the ones that are dealing with upset parents, dealing with difficult children. I have a difficult child, I know, and Mrs. Vincent is fantastic. She is a godsend. So I know from experience how wonderful these people are, and I want to make sure that their voices are being heard. What anonymous programs or surveys are being sent out to make sure that their voices are heard, that they have an opinion that counts. They have an outlet to try and provide suggestions or concerns themselves without fear of retribution from the school board. It's important that our teachers are heard and they know how much they are loved. So that was one thing. My second thing is, I don't know if you guys can add to the agenda, but I was informed that I have to get approval and it has to be approved by the board to make a donation, and my husband and I would like to make a $200 donation to the Bradford Blitz Trip because we think it's a fantastic program. And we know that there are some children in our area that may need assistance, and so we want to help support that. My last thing, and I promise it's the last thing, I wanted to tell Sandy Yoho thank you. You have done a great job. I know that being the athletic director is a tremendous responsibility. There's a lot that's involved that the parents don't see, that the coaches may get a hint of, but all the scheduling, all the rescheduling, all the coordination, thank you for all of your efforts. We really appreciate it. I also wanted to congratulate Nathan Martindale. We're very excited to see what you can do. That's it.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Recommended that the agenda for the February 14th, 2022 meeting be approved as represented with additions, corrections, or deletions as recommended by the board. Seek a motion for that. Matt? Second? Heather? All those for? 6-0. It is recommended that the minutes from the January 10th, 2022 meetings be approved as presented. I seek a motion for that. Martha? Second? Sharon? All those for? It is recommended that the claims numbers 14364 through
14458
be approved as presented. Seek a motion for that. Matt? Second? Martha? Any questions on claims? Okay. All those for?
Okay. First up is seeking a motion to approve the first reading of Neola Policy Update, Volume 31, Number 2. First reading means these are not being adopted yet. It just, you have to legally have a first reading. Gives the board more time to go over them once again. We did this a couple months ago, and we're going to continue doing this months down the road as we catch up with the Neola policy updates. Once again, for some of you that may not have been here, we did it a couple months ago. We belong to this company called Neola. They have lawyers that are on staff, and they send us policy updates every once in a while that keeps schools up to date with both federal and state law and changes that might be coming along. Most of the time, it's pretty simple wording. It's changes in legal terms and things like that. So that is what I am recommending for tonight, is that we approve the first reading of the Neola policies.
Need a motion?
First question, just to make sure that everybody understands that we are not adopting these tonight. I want to make sure that Mr. George understood that.
Yes, this is just the first reading.
Okay. First reading only.
Could you guys speak up, because none of us back here can hear us saying.
Wanted to make sure that everybody understood that this was first reading. We are not adopting these policies tonight. And I just wanted to make sure that this was a topic that Mr. George brought up, and I wanted to make sure he understood that we were not voting on these yet.
It's still a working item.
Need a motion? Matt? Second? Sharon? All those for the first reading?
Okay. Next up, recommending to the board that we accept the loan bid submitted by C&T Design and Equipment Company Incorporated to install the new elementary middle school cafeteria serving line. We went through the bid process on this since it was over a certain dollar amount. It's over $150,000, I believe. You have to do a bid process. We did our due diligence there. We advertised. The company we were working with even sent out the bids to people they thought might be interested. We did only get back the one bid, but it is, after we looked at it and graded it, it is within our budget. It's going to be about $230,000. It's coming out of our cafeteria fund, which is very healthy right now. Luckily, we have the money to do that, so it'd be a great addition to our cafeteria here at the middle school.
Seek a motion for that approval. Heather? Second? Matt? Any questions? All those for?
Next up, a recommendation to approve the resignation as middle school athletic director from Sandy Yoho, effective at the end of the 21-22 school year. Thank you, Sandy, for everything you've done in that capacity for so many years. Truly appreciate it.
Seek a motion to approve Sandy's resignation.
Sadly.
Shannon, second Matt. All those for?
Next up, begrudgingly, once again, recommending to approve the resignation of Tessa Wolfger as middle school counselor, effective at the end of the 21-22 contractual year. Once again, Tessa does an unbelievable job. Any of you that know her and would like to talk to her, I would suggest you talk to her about what she's going to do, because it's a really neat thing. Something I really can't discuss because it's a personnel item, but she's going to do something really neat that I'm very proud that she's going to take on. So sad to lose her, but she's going to go do great things.
Motion to accept Tessa's resignation. Heather? Second? Matt? All support?
Can we give her a round of applause to do that?
Next up, have a recommendation to approve the resignation of Christy Sisman as an elementary instructional assistant effective February 4th, 2022. Once again, thanking Christy for her years of service at Eastern Green.
Motion? Take a motion. Matt? Second? Heather? All those support?
We have a recommendation to approve the resignation of Leona Robinson as elementary instructional assistant effective January 20th, 2022, and thanking Leona for her years of service also.
Seek a motion for that. Heather? Second? Sharon? All those support?
Have a recommendation to approve the resignation of Kelly Parsley as an elementary instructional assistant effective February 4th, 2022. Thanking Kelly for her time as an elementary instructional assistant. Thank you very much.
Seek a motion to approve the resignation of Kelly. Matt? Second? Heather? All those support?
Have a recommendation to approve the resignation of Tracy Seidel as middle school instructional assistant effective January 13th, 2022. Thank you to Tracy for her service to our middle school.
Seek a motion for Tracy's resignation. Heather? Second? Matt? All those support?
Next up, we have a retirement, recommending to approve the retirement request from Rena Ogle as high school instructional assistant effective the end of 21-22. Thank you, Rena, for your years of service at the high school.
Take a motion. Martha? Second? Matt? All those support? 6-0.
Next up, have a recommendation to hire Treva Lukens as corporation payroll / benefits trainee beginning tomorrow, February 15th, 2022. We did the interview process, interviewed I think 4 to 5. Treva rose to the top with her experience with some payroll and benefits. She will do a wonderful job for us. She's coming over from the food service area, but I'd like to make that recommendation.
Seek a motion to hire Treva Lucas. Heather? Second? Sharon? All those for? 6-0.
Next up, making the recommendation to hire the following for 21-22 middle school track season: Curtis Moffitt and Alex Clary, both as middle school track coach.
Seek that motion. Heather? Second? Martha? All those for? Passes 6-0.
We have a recommendation to change Nathan Martindale's status from part-time athletic director, as he is right now, to full-time middle school athletic director. That would be at the end of this school year.
Motion? Matt? Need a second? Heather? All those support? Passes 6-0.
Next up, a recommendation to hire the following volleyball coaches for the fall of 2022. Kelsey Fry as the volleyball head coach, Gina Ingram as volleyball JV coach, Peyton Gilliat as volleyball volunteer assistant coach.
Mike Adams, motion, and second. Heather? All those support? Passes 6-0.
Next up, make a recommendation to hire Travis Gray for the varsity football head coaching position for the 22-23 football season.
Need a motion? Heather? Second? Matt? All those for? 6-0 passes.
I was getting ready to say, I believe Travis is here, so congratulations. Next up, we have a recommendation for the Bradford Woods field trip. Good to get the kids back doing this field trip, as I know they've enjoyed it in the past. So making a recommendation to approve the 5th grade Bradford Woods overnight field trip. The trip will take place on March 30th, 31st, and April 1st. We didn't have anybody come and do a presentation because it's went on in the past. We just postponed it over the past few years due to COVID. So good to make that recommendation to get them back doing that again.
Motion, Mike Adams. Need a second? Heather? All those for? Passes 6-0.
Have a donation, recommending to approve a donation of $46.20 from Casey's General Stores for classroom use.
Need a motion? Matt? A second? Mike? All those for? Passes 6-0.
We only have one late item, and that was a recommendation or a resignation.
Did you add that other donation?
I will. Yes. We will. I'm going to.
So we have a recommendation to approve the resignation of Ethan Deckard as full-time custodian effective February 11th, 2021.
Need a motion? Sharon? Second? Matt? All those for? Passes 6-0. Marilyn, we'd like to add a late item to the agenda. Be 2-14-4382-2, I believe. And this would be a recommendation to approve the Bradford Woods donation from the Barr family. Thank you very much. Need a motion? Sharon?
How much?
$200. I believe that's correct, yes? $200? Need a second? Mike? All those for? Passes 6-0. No, thank you very much.
Okay, I think we are ready for discussion information items. So let's start with elementary. Does elementary have any discussion or information items?
So today was a great day of celebrating Valentine's Day for our little ones at the elementary school. And I visited a few classrooms, and it was nice to see the teachers incorporating their Valentine's Day parties into their writing assignments. I saw them incorporating Valentine's Day parties into STEM projects, building things out of candy, which was really cool. And then just other activities, teaching students compassion and empathy and tying that all into the Valentine's Day theme. So that was really neat to see today and fun for the kids to celebrate. And World Tour Week begins February the 28th. So that is a week where we bring the world to our kids in their classrooms. Each classroom becomes a different country, and students learn about the country's geography, climate, culture, and food. And so this is a great opportunity for our students to travel around the world within their own classrooms. And I'd like to thank Megan Birch for organizing the flags and all of that for the teachers. Our third grade students will take IRE 3 March 8th through the 10th, and I'm really proud of the efforts of the students and the teachers that they've put into preparing for IRE 3. Our third graders have done an excellent job at preparing for success, and this year we're going to have our testing environment a little bit different to set the students up for more focus and more success. We're going to do small group testing, so we're testing groups of no more than 6 at a time. That way our kids can focus and really focus on doing a good job. So second grade kids will have a musical performance March 1st, and this will be performed for our students during the school day. And families can watch this performance on the YouTube channel at a later date. We'll let everyone know on Facebook when that's available for families to see. And I'd like to congratulate Treva Lukens on her new position in central office. She has done an amazing job as the cafeteria manager for the elementary and middle school, and I know she'll do an amazing job in her new role. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Alt.
I want to thank Lisa Childress. I saw her back there in Salisbury Christian Church. Is it ladies group? They provided the most beautiful homemade breakfast bread I've ever seen this morning. And then Wednesday they're doing snacks and they're doing a nacho bar for lunch for the teachers on Friday. So thank you very much. That was nice. Thank you to Dr. Josh Cullison from Greene County Hospital for speaking to our 7th and 8th grade students about the dangers of drugs, alcohol, and vaping. He did a great job. He really did. We need more of that. Thank you to Nathan Martindale and Curtis Moffitt for presenting tonight and for caring about our students on the level that you do. Thank you, guys. Trust me, Nathan would have us on that DC trip if he could, and hopefully next year. We've had to put it off twice, so maybe third time's a charm. They talked about the Pie in the Face fundraiser. That'll start next week on Monday, and then we'll all be getting hit on Friday, I think. We're going to make sure Mrs. Yoho gets hit. I think she's above me on the chart. So, the middle schools worked hard, wrapping up second round of ClearSight formative testing. This testing not only gives teachers a baseline of where each student is in ELA and math, but it is identical and from the same company as the iLearn State Standardized Test, so it will also prepare them for iLearn. So thank you for the teachers and students for working hard on that. Thank you to all the basketball coaches at the middle school, the players and the cheerleaders. You represented us well, worked hard. We appreciate all of you. Congrats to the band students and Mr. Rodriguez for a great showing and solo ensemble over the weekend. We're very proud of them. I think it was a record number from the middle school. I will say 14 kids. So, yeah, and that's nice. Personally, I want to say thank you to the teachers, parents, and students for their hard work and efforts during our weather e-learning days. They did a great job. It's 2 years, figured it out, right? We've had a lot of practice with that kind of thing, so they've done a nice job. Lastly, we are starting esports gaming club at the middle school. Miss No, who teaches 7th grade ELA, has had a lot of interest, so much so that she had the students that wanted to do this write why they wanted to be a part of the club and what it meant to them. So I think we're going to be able to take 12 students. She's going to go once or twice a month. Should start here in a couple weeks. And we have 6 PC gaming units. My son would know more about it. It's super expensive, real fast, kind of do. So we have 6 of those, and then we have 6 Nintendo Switches. So we are ready to go, and hopefully by the end of next school year, maybe go to a tournament somewhere. So super, and I wrote on here, and it's a dream of mine, but I sure would like to in the future, maybe not next school year, but the following, I would like to have a gaming club, because that's the thing now. I mean, people are making money off this, adults and teenagers, both. Big money. But I would like to have a 7th and 8th grade elective class as well, because we have a room dedicated for that. So that's kind of neat. Congrats, Nathan Martindale. Thank you for wanting to do the AD position. I appreciate it. Saved me a headache, and Sandy, you're awesome. You already know that. Congrats to Travis Ray.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Real happy. Real happy. Thank you, guys.
All right. Good evening once again. We've had 7 events perform at solo and ensemble this past week. 1 being in the intermediate group, the other 6 being in the most advanced group. All 7 events received a gold medal, and each of the events in the advanced group will perform again at State Solo Ensemble in Indianapolis on February 26th. The following students were the ones that participated and are going to state: Aaron Dwyer, Rebecca Helms, Kale Helms, Alex Perazis, Molly Parsley, Quinn Robinson, Aiden Sparks, Marcus White, and John Williams. Congratulations, Mr. Rodriguez and his musicians. They did a fantastic job. I'm going to sound a little bit like a broken record, but I wanted to thank Salisbury Christian Church for the morale boost for our teachers this past week. It's today to walk into some homemade treats was quite to the benefit of our teachers, so I really do appreciate that. For the next 2 weeks, we are going to be filled with AP mock exams. These are not the actual exams, but our students, our teachers, put a lot of pressure on themselves to perform on these, because that's kind of where it's kind of the litmus test to determine whether or not you guys are ready for those AP exams. And so I just want to say best of luck to them. I've commented before that for a high school that has roughly 320 students, to have the amount of AP classes that we have is truly, it's a spectacle, because each one of those classes requires additional training from our teachers. And so that just, again, shows the dedication that our teachers have to our students. It's a lot of hard work. I've done AP before. It's a lot of reading. It's a lot of writing and giving a lot of reflection for those teachers, for those students' benefit. So, juniors will be taking SATs. So this is new. This year, all juniors throughout the state will be taking SATs electronically on March 3rd. So if you have a junior, make sure that they get well rested that night, because it could be upwards of about a 3 to 4 hour exam. So I just want to wish all of them the best of luck. I also wanted to say congratulations to Travis. He did a fantastic job, and I look forward to having a successful season with him. So congratulations again. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about 2 unsung heroes that are retiring. Tony Renard, who was approved last month. He is one of my high school custodians. And Rena Ogle. She is a special ed aide at the high school. To start with Tony, you have never met a more ornery guy. I mean, he's fantastic, and I really he was one of the first people that I met when I was here. I distinctly remember him coming through the office and doing his routine, and it was right about the time in which Doug Lewis had left, and I had come in, And and he said something to the effect of, "Oh, they traded up for a newer model." because of course I'm bald and he's bald. Kind of looks like a smaller version of Doug. So that was my first interaction with him, and ever since then we've just had a great chemistry, and the man will bend over backwards to help anybody. And so I'm really looking forward that he finally kind of gets to do his thing. I know he wanted to do some traveling. He loves his motorcycle, and so I just wish him well for his retirement. So thank you to Tony. The next one, you would not notice that she was there if it wasn't for the students that run to her. Miss Ogle is amazing. She has an amazing ability to make connections with some of those students, and in special education, not everyone has the easiest time to learn, but she makes it look easy, and she does an amazing job. And I'm going to miss her. I know Miss Butler is going to miss her, but also she wants to do some traveling and kind of see the country. So I really wish her the best of luck in retirement, and hope that she gets to see the country. So thank you.
Okay, I have a few things here. First of all, I want to congratulate our girls basketball team. They ended their season recently, had a great season. I know it didn't end exactly the way they wanted to, but don't take anything away from them. They did a great job, so congratulations to them. Good luck to the boys basketball team. They're kind of wrapping up their season here within the next few weeks, going to go into sectional play, so good luck to the boys basketball team. Also want to say good luck to our spring sports. They're starting their conditioning programs and won't be very long until they actually start having official practices, so good luck to them. I want to congratulate choir, band, dance. It was really neat at the last boys basketball game to see senior night, to see all those different groups performing. So they did a great job. Very, very proud of those groups. So congratulations to all of them. They make us look very good as a school corporation. So thanks to all of them. Want to give a COVID update. The COVID dashboard is up to date. I try to stay on that weekly. Last week we had 2 cases and 2 quarantines, which was great. And this is down greatly from the past several weeks. Back in about mid-January, we were up around 24 to 26 cases and had 50, 60-ish quarantines. So it's heading in the right direction. It's actually heading in the right direction around the state. We have our weekly meeting with the health department, and she said cases were down about 50% last week, which is good. We kind of questioned her about where she thinks the state is heading with, for example, the governor's executive order, which runs through February. She is hoping that what's going to happen in Indiana is what's also happening around some other states. If you follow the news, you see states are loosening up any types of COVID restrictions and mask mandates and things like that. So that's what she hopes is going to happen in Indiana also. The 22-23 calendar, that was on my list here to talk about a little bit. We will have a recommendation in March for any changes we're going to make to the whole PD. The calendar itself isn't going to change. The dates, as far as when we start school, when we get out, any snow makeup days, that sort of thing, that will stay put. It's solely going to be a recommendation for any changes we make to the how we're going to do PD. We did send out the survey. We had 400 total responses, actually 402 responses. About probably 100 of those were our staff. We had 45.3% responded that they like the early release Friday idea. 25.6% like the e-learning idea. That was overwhelmingly the choice of staff. 21.6 wanted nothing at all. They said it shouldn't affect the school day at all. It should be done some other time. And then 7.5% wanted delayed. We're okay with the delayed start Wednesday. So I want to talk to the staff here at the end of the month when we have corporation discussion group and get their input on my idea of which way we should head, and then we should be ready to make a recommendation in March. So let's see. I think that's all I have.
Martha, did you have any comments for this evening? Matt? Sharon?
I do. I want to thank Rena Ogle also. Rena started her career in the elementary, and oh my gosh, that was back when we both had long hair and it wasn't gray yet. But I was a special ed teacher. That she worked beautifully with students, and that she just moved up through the grades with them until she landed in high school and stayed there. So I just want to say thank you to Rena. What a marvelous job she did, and what a great thing she did for the school and the students.
I think, thanks to those who have retired and served. I know a lot of resignations were here for a long time too, so thanks for all their service. And Sandy, and I know Nathan knows he has big shoes to fill, but I know he's prepared to fill them. He's been training. And welcome back, Travis.
Mike? I just want to say welcome back, Travis, as well, but also condolences to you and Tina and your family for all that you've been through in this last couple of weeks. Our hearts break with you, and our thoughts are with you as well. So, at this time, we will recommend that we adjourn at 8:52 p.m. Need a motion? Mike? Second? Matt? Call for it. Passes 6-0. We are adjourned.
Sure. Yes.
Hey, Kristen, bring that up here. Oh.